At the start of the film, we are introduced to a futuristic world where pollution has made it impossible to breathe in the open air. To survive, people have installed air filters in their homes, and whenever they step outside, they rely on advanced oxygen filtering masks. Amid this crisis, a company named Athera introduces a solution in the form of a medicine called AI Remedy. This medicine allows a person to breathe in polluted air for 6 hours without needing a mask. However, the catch is its exorbitant price, making it accessible only to the wealthy. The scene then shifts abruptly, taking us to a secret laboratory where a man named Solomon is recording a video. In the video, he exposes Athera, accusing the company of restricting AI Remedy to the rich, thus ignoring the plight of the common people. A time will come when people will go to any lengths to obtain that medicine, and this is exactly why Solomon is determined to create something entirely new to replace it. So far, the medicine he had developed showed promise, but it came with a dangerous side effect. If someone took an excessive dose, it could lead to bizarre and unpredictable changes in their body. Despite the risks, Solomon believed his medicine had the potential to save all of humanity. While recording his video, he suddenly receives a message informing him that the last green zone on Earth, where pollution levels were slightly lower, has now become completely polluted. This means that in the next 18 months, approximately 83% of the world's population will die due to the toxic air. This grim news leaves Solomon deeply troubled. To make matters worse, his partner Spider brings him even more alarming news. Many people have discovered the location of his secret lab, and he must now find a way to protect his research. Confused and desperate, Solomon doesn't know what to do. Spider, however, suggests a clever idea: to give the medicine a blue color, as blue-colored drugs are currently very popular and could help their creation gain acceptance faster. In this way, even if the police arrest their dealers, the medicine won't undergo testing, and their formula will remain safe from being leaked. The scene then shifts, introducing the movie's main character, Ella. Ella is a model currently working on a promotional campaign for Athera. We learn that Ella's mother, to whom she was deeply attached, is no longer with her. At this moment, Ella is holding her mother's necklace, a keepsake that holds deep sentimental value. Hidden inside the necklace is Athera's AI Remedy, allowing Ella to breathe in this polluted world without needing a mask. Today was her mom's death anniversary. She was just remembering that she gets a call from her boyfriend, who tells her that he can't meet her today because he is very busy. Ella was sad today, so she calls her best friend Gina to spend time with her, but it turns out that her friend Gina was cheating on her. She meets her boyfriend. Here, Ella's boyfriend tells Gina that we should tell Ella the truth, but when Gina replies, "No, not now. Today is her mom's death anniversary. We should wait a little." While talking, they reach a strange place where they had to pick up some drugs from this boy, while Gina was waiting in his car. Then Gina gets a call from Ella, and she tells her that her boyfriend is not coming to pick her up, so she has to catch a train. Here, Gina invites her to a party, but Ella's mood was not good, so she refused. Now, the token of the scene is shown to us by the CEO of the Athera company, Eric, who was giving an interview to get credit for his magical medicine. Everything was going well, but by the time the anchor asked him this question, that your AI remedy is only for rich people, why are you not fulfilling its global demand? Eric did not have an answer to this question, or even if he had, he was not going to give it, so he quickly finished the interview and left. Here again, we see Ella and Gina's boyfriend, who was at a drug dealer's house, and in this house, there was also a lab of Solomon and Spider. He goes to the dealer's house to steal drugs, where he also sees Solomon's lab. Solomon was relaxing with his own medicine when he saw that the boy thought it was a new drug. As soon as Solomon puts it in the fridge, this boy steals that drug. When he came out, he also met the drug dealer, who brought him and gave him his drugs. This boy made him show that as if nothing had happened, and took the drugs and ran away from there. Here we see Eric again, who has a call from his dad, who is one of the authorities of his company. In his interview, his company's reputation was very down by ignoring a question. People were asking all kinds of questions, that is this company only for rich people? Then his dad tells him to find a solution to this problem as soon as possible, otherwise you will lose your job. Worried, he goes to his lab and tests a new drug on a rat. But this medicine was not safe. Meanwhile, Eric's assistant enters his room, bringing good news. He has successfully tracked someone. Who that person is and why they were being tracked remains a mystery for now, to be revealed when the time comes. At the same time, Eric receives a call from his son, who is secretly reaching out to him because Eric and his wife are divorced, and the boy lives with his mother. On the call, Eric's son shares with excitement, "Dad, today I helped some poor people by giving them money." Instead of appreciating his son's kindness, Eric reacts angrily and warns him, "Stay away from poor people. They're parasites. They have no worth." The scene cuts to Ella, who is sitting with an old magazine in her hands. On the cover is a picture of her mother, a renowned model, with Ella as a child sitting in her lap. Ella reflects on her fame, knowing it is largely because of her striking resemblance to her mother and the legacy her mother left behind. Ella was lost in her thoughts when she suddenly received a call from her dad, who was in another country at the time. He was helping poor people by providing essential items like masks and air filters to save their lives. During the call, her dad told her, "Ella, you shouldn't be alone today." However, Ella, feeling frustrated, cut the call. After hanging up, she couldn't shake off the feeling of loneliness that had crept in. To distract herself, she decided to go to a party. At the party, Ella hoped to find Gina, but she was nowhere to be seen. Wandering around, Ella eventually went to the washroom, and what she saw there left her stunned. Her boyfriend was hiding inside with Gina, and they were dealing drugs. Realizing the betrayal by both her friend and her boyfriend, Ella was overcome with anger. Gina quickly got up and left, while her boyfriend, avoiding any confrontation, also tried to slip away without saying a word. Ella stood there, furious and heartbroken. In her fury, Ella accidentally dropped the drug she was holding onto the floor. Overwhelmed by anger and betrayal, she couldn't think clearly. In a moment of recklessness, she consumed the entire compound. As soon as she took it, an intense wave of sickness washed over her. She began feeling dizzy and disoriented, eventually collapsing on the floor. While lying there, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Gina. The message read, "Can we talk?" But she could not understand anything. Her body felt like it was burning, so she filled a tub of cold water, and she lies down in it. When Ella's boyfriend found out that her drugs were left in the washroom, so he went to get it, and when he was going upstairs, then he saw that the drug dealer and Solomon's people were following him. He knew that all this was because he had stolen their drugs. He also starts running. But here in the bathroom, these people catch him and beat him a lot, but he does not confess that he stole the compound, but now he has lost it. Now Solomon and his partner are busy looking for the compound, and then Ella comes out of the bathtub. She tells him that I have taken the compound. The boy quickly tells Solomon that Ella has taken the compound, and by the time these people came to see Ella, by then Ella had left. They were now suspicious of this boy. They thought that the boy was saying this to distract them, because this boy had told that when these people were talking. Ella was hiding in the bathtub. These people could not believe that a person can stop breathing in the bathtub for so long. These people start killing this boy again, so that this boy speaks the truth. And at the same time, this boy takes out his gun. The spider attacks him to stop him before anything goes wrong. And this boy accidentally burns the gun on himself. Now his legs were injured, his blood was flowing too much, because of which he fainted. And seeing this, Solomon quickly took out his belt and tied his leg. And the people of Solomon started looking for the compound again, which he had made. They did not get the compound, because Ella had taken it. But during their efforts, they found out that the police had come here, now because there were many drug dealers among them. So they were in danger of the police. As soon as they heard the name of the police, they all ran away from here. As soon as Solomon and his people left, we got to see that Ella was hiding on the ceiling of this washroom, on which no one had paid attention. Suddenly she jumped, and she landed on the ground as if she had grown up while stunting. Here the boy gets scared of her. Now there were strange signs on Ella's arms, about which Ella said only this, "I think that compound has given me a reaction." She wanted to leave the bathroom, but she saw that Solomon had locked this door, so that the police do not see this boy. Now Ella went to knock on this door, but as soon as Ella knocks on this door breaks. She was surprised that how could this happen? When she went out, she saw that Solomon and his people were still in the party. She wanted to hide from them, so she came back to the washroom and started breaking the skylight of the washroom so that she could get out of there. Here Ella's boyfriend gives her an AI remedy to go up, because of which she could breathe in the outside environment without a mask. After taking this, she came upstairs, and her people felt the noise in the bathroom, because of which they came to know that someone is trying to escape from there. Here we see that Ella's boyfriend, when he tried to escape from here like Ella, he slipped again and again, because there was a bullet on his leg. Before Solomon and his people could see him, Ella caught him, and then she felt that her hands have become very sticky, because of which she was able to grip everything well. Gina, who was standing on the road below, she saw both of them on this house, and to find both of them, she comes to this house. These people were also trying to escape from this house. Ella's boyfriend first jumps from the roof of this house towards the front of this house, and when he jumped, he was killed because he fell wrongly, when Ella also jumped behind him. At the same time, Gina reached there, and Gina felt that Ella must have thrown her boyfriend down in anger, because of which she died. Ella wanted to make her understand something, but before that, Solomon's people saw her behind. To escape from them, she ran towards the jungle, and here Gina also filed a police report against Ella. While running, Ella stumbled through the jungle fence and reached the road. Exhausted and disoriented, she didn't know what was happening to her. Moments later, she fainted on the spot. Just then, a car approached and stopped. The driver, seeing Ella unconscious, picked her up and drove away. Meanwhile, the people monitoring Solomon discovered that Ella had injected the drug developed by him. They also found traces of the drug near where Ella had collapsed. The scene then shifts to Ella regaining consciousness. The person who had picked her up turned out to be her friend. As Ella woke up, her friend confronted her, saying, "Ella, you've hurt me a lot." Hearing this, Ella became anxious and quickly excused herself to the washroom. There, she noticed strange marks on her body. Her mouth was turning an unnatural color, and bizarrely, sharp nails were beginning to grow from her fingers. Ella stared at her reflection, terrified by the changes taking over her. Terrified by what she saw, Ella grabbed a pair of scissors and desperately tried to cut off the strange nails growing from her fingers. Shaken and panicked, she rushed to the hospital, hoping to find help. Once there, she approached a nurse, showing her face and explaining that after taking a drug, the color of her mouth had begun changing unnaturally. The nurse, alarmed by her condition, examined her closely. Realizing the severity of the situation, the nurse grew concerned and told Ella that her condition seemed critical. She recommended that Ella be quarantined immediately for further evaluation. Hearing this, Ella was overwhelmed with fear. Without thinking, she turned and started running, determined to escape before security could catch her. However, she quickly realized that escaping the hospital was nearly impossible, and she would need to think fast to avoid being caught. That's why she got quarantined. She went to a patient's room, and with the help of her sticky hand, she climbed on the ceiling. The patient who was lying here was surprised to see her like this. Ella told her, "Please don't tell anyone about me." This patient also listens to Ella, and when the security came here, she didn't tell anyone about her, in the name of which Ella gave her all the air remedies, which she got from Eric's company. Guys, the scene is cut. Now we are shown Eric. Eric was being reported, and finally, we are revealed that there was no one to keep an eye on Solomon, but Eric. And Eric got the news. Because of Solomon's people, an innocent person has died. Along with that, Solomon's people are looking for Ella. Eric also got the news that there was a scene in the story of Ella, behind which Solomon's people were lying. His friend reported it to the police. Hearing this, Eric also got interested in it, along with Solomon, and he also put his people behind Ella. Here we see that Solomon and Spider, while looking for Ella, reached Ella's friend's house, where they found the same scene in her washroom, which Ella had cut from her story. Ella came to Gina's house to get help, but Gina got scared when she saw her. That's why Ella forced her, and tells her that a lot has happened to her. She didn't kill her boyfriend at that time. In fact, they were running away from the drug dealer. When she fell, her boyfriend died. After telling this, she brings her boyfriend to her house, where Ella sees that there were more marks on her body, and her face was turning blue. Even her nails were broken. She tells all this to Gina. Along with that, she has a craving to eat a lot of meat. She opens Gina's fridge and eats a lot of meat. After that, she takes her phone and sends a message to her boyfriend's number because she knew that her boyfriend's mobile must be with the same group. She asks the group to meet Solomon, for which Ella had agreed. Here we see Eric, who was talking to his mom and dad. His company didn't have enough funds to make AI remedy for the whole world. He also had to face a lot of competitors, and then his dad tells him to prepare a new formula as soon as possible, which we can provide to everyone. Otherwise, you will be fired. Now Ella had to go to meet him. Gina takes him to the place Solomon told, where he will die. Gina takes him to the place Solomon told, where Solomon talks to him. But this was just a distraction. While Solomon was talking, a spider came from behind and kidnapped Ella. Gina was shocked to see this and realized that something was wrong here. She now puts the phone on tracking, which was still with Solomon. On this day, she had tracked Solomon and called the police. Here we see that he had tied Ella. When Ella regained consciousness, she got rid of herself with the help of blood and ate a lot of meat on the counter. That too without cooking. While listening to the noise in the room, Solomon and the spider both come here. He wanted to talk to Ella here, but Ella did not trust him. She spits acid on both of them and tries to run away from here. But then Solomon caught him. Before he could talk to Ella, he found out about the police arriving outside. Upon hearing this, Solomon gave his last compound to the spider and made him escape from there. Just as the spider was about to flee with Ella, the police arrived and arrested Ella because of her boyfriend's murder and the accusation of attacking her friend. Here the police also caught Solomon because the police thought he was Ella's leader, and he is doing all this with Ella. Now both of them are brought to the police station, here in prison. Ella noticed that her ears were hurting a lot. When she put her hand on her ear came into her hand. Seeing this, she was very scared, while we were shown that, instead of her ear, a strange thing came out of her ear. Now to hide these things from everyone, Ella wears a hoodie, while here in the prison next to her, Solomon tells her that you misunderstood me. I am a scientist. I used to work at the Athera company where I created the AI remedy. But then the company decided to make the AI remedy available only for the rich. Now I am trying to create an alternative that is accessible to all humans. He was about to tell Ella about the medicine he had taken, but then a police officer informed him that someone had bailed them out, and that someone was none other than Eric, that Ella's DNA is completely mutated, because of which she is no longer a human. Now Eric goes to his basement, where Eric's people were torturing Solomon. Here Eric comes and threatens him, that if you don't start working for our company again, then you know. What are the charges against you? It won't take a minute. You will go to jail and be hanged. Solomon was not afraid of anything. He still refuses to help Eric, and says, I just want to make such a medicine, which is not only for the rich, but for everyone. As soon as Eric heard this, he got angry, because he has harmed this environment, and now he has no right to survive here. Saying all this, Eric went back upstairs, where Ella just regained consciousness. This time when she regained consciousness, Ella saw that her mouth has also mutated to a great extent. Her mouth has changed a lot. Here Eric comes and tells her that there have been a lot of changes in your body. First of all, you are no longer a human. The new powers that have come into you, it is a blessing for any other human. You can breathe in polluted air. There is an enzyme in your body, which can be used to make more AI remedies. He tells Ella, you call your dad. We will have to do your small tests, and we will have to take samples, with the help of which we can make AI remedies for other humans. and your father will be needed in this. But Ella agrees by giving her father's address, on which Eric gets angry, because either with the blood of Ella or with the help of Solomon, he could have made more AI remedies, but Solomon was not ready to help him, because now Solomon does not want to give his credit to anyone else. Earlier also, AI remedies were made by Solomon, whose credit Eric took. Eric introduced him only to rich people. Here Eric plays a new strategy with Ella. He says to Ella, "Okay, you give us permission, so that we can do some experiments on you. In return, I promise that I will make you a normal person like before." Ella agrees to this offer, and they also sign the contract, after which Ella is made conscious again. Next time when Ella was conscious, she had a new power inside her. Her new ears were now able to hear the voices of humans sitting 4 rooms away, and in the same way, she heard the words of Eric and Eric's father. Eric was telling his father what kind of enzyme is being produced in Ella's body, with which they can make more AI remedies. And now Eric, with a procedure, he wanted to remove the enzyme from Ella's body, which procedure was so dangerous that Ella's life could have been lost in it. Hearing this, Ella gets angry and starts beating the glass, from where she could see Eric on the other side, seeing him go crazy like this. Eric again leaves a gas in the room, because of which Ella goes to sleep again. After a while we see the spider, which enters Eric's facility as a stock driver. Here we see that 2 doctors had come to take Ella, but as soon as he came, he saw that Ella's handcuffed hands were now open. Suddenly, Ella also wakes up and attacks both of them, and it turns out that Ella was doing the drama of sleeping to distract them. Ella tuvo que salir de aquí a cualquier costo. And she had to take Solomon too, because she knew that now Solomon could cure her and that his intentions were good. She pulled a doctor's fingerprint to open the door. She managed to get out. While the guards were watching everything on the CCTV cameras, before they could ring the alarm, she found out about them. To escape the guards, she hid on the roof, and as soon as the guards came to her, she threw acid on his face. He fell down in pain, after which Ella killed him, and then she reached Solomon, where she tells him to run away from here. But Solomon tells her, "No, I can't run away from here like this. I have to steal some formulas from here, with the help of which I can make a free AI remedy for everyone." Ella gets angry, and in anger, she holds Solomon's neck and asks him, "Tell me, how is this better than a mask?" He says to Ella, "Wait, I can explain to you." After saying this, he shows Ella a friend and plans to go to the search room from here. Ella climbs there with her sticky hands and then picks up Solomon too. On the other hand, Eric, who had just come to the office with his son and leaving his son in the office to find both of them, he called in a security team before they could find Ella and Solomon. Meanwhile, the spider planted a bomb in the facility and threatened them. He warned that if they didn't release Ella and Solomon, the entire facility would be destroyed in 9 minutes. Everyone was terrified upon hearing this. Eric's assistant advised him to evacuate the facility immediately, but Eric believed that whoever was threatening them was just trying to distract them. He thought there was no bomb in the facility. Meanwhile, Ella and Solomon had reached the research center, where, with the help of a hologram, Solomon explains to Ella how the medicine made by him works better than a mask. Solomon started telling, because of this pollution, almost all the insects in the world were killed, except for a few. Among them were these dragonflies. Because of this, humans can breathe in pollution. And because of this, Ella took an overdose of the compound. Because of this, Ella has become like a fly, Solomon said. Now those dragonflies are gone, because Athera had made a lot of AI remedies from them. And now there is only you, who has that enzyme, with which AI remedies can be made. Athera tried a lot to make that enzyme artificially, but she could not make it. This was the reason. That now from Ella. He wanted to remove all that enzyme, Solomon says. The drug you took, I had to put DNA of some animals in it, because of which its side effects would end, and then I could introduce it to the whole world. During these gossips, He hears the sound of a bomb exploding inside the building, because of which both are scared, and go back to the basement, where they face another man. Before they would have killed him, they came to know that it was a spider, which came to save them. They were just talking. That poisonous gas was spreading in the basement. To save them, they went upstairs and hid in a washroom, where Eric's son was also hiding in fear. Here, Ella tries to make him comfortable, and that child becomes comfortable with Ella. Now all four of them, to save their lives again, they run from this washroom, but it was too much for them to run from here, because Eric had blocked their way from the front. Solomon and Spider ran from here from another place, but now Ella had come in front of him. Ella makes a shield for her son, and tells him that if you kill him, then your son will also die. She had kept the string in her hand, on Eric's son's neck, but Eric did not get any effect from it, and Eric shot Ella. Seeing this, Eric's son starts to say something to him, and seeing Eric distracted, Eric jumps and goes to Solomon and Spider, in the elevator, where they had reached the garage. As soon as they took the van from the garage, they ran in such a way that no one could catch them. Now the company's guards had started attacking their car from behind, but at the right time, Eric comes there and tells them, "No, don't shoot him, we want Ella alive." Thinking this, the guard punctured the tire of their car, causing a terrible accident. When they reached the car, only the spider was inside. Ella and Solomon had escaped. On the other side of the forest, Ella used the nails in her hand to break the car's fence, and they began running through the forest. Many of Eric's guards spread out through the forest to find Ella and Solomon, while one guy was watching Spider, in front of whom, first Spider pretends to be sick, and when that man comes to check Spider, then Spider catches him and kills him. After killing him, now she was also successful in running away from here. Here it was seen that Solomon and Ella had reached a bridge, where Solomon tells Ella, "You jump from this bridge and run away from those people." But Ella did not want to run away without Solomon. Then Solomon showed her his arm, which had slightly mutated. He told her that the compound Ella had taken was only a small dose, as she didn't have the courage to experiment on herself by taking so much medicine. Taking a larger dose wouldn't completely mutate her, but it wasn't certain whether she would survive or not. Solomon then gave her the last sample of his compound, in Ella's hand, and tells her to make a laser enzyme in it, and complete it. And then she vowed to give it to the entire world. Before jumping, Ella handed her locket to Solomon and leaped. As soon as she jumped, Eric's guards arrived. Meanwhile, the spider hacked all the city's TV channels and computers, delivering a message to everyone. Humanity now had hope. He announced the creation of a medicine that would be made available to the entire world, but they needed to wait a little longer. In the post-credit scene of the movie, Ella reappears. This time, when she regained consciousness, wings like those of a dragonfly had formed on her back. To save the world, she realized she had to add crucial enzymes to her compound. In search of these enzymes, she set off, discovering that the key wasn't in anyone else's body, but in Eric's assistant, Angelina. The story ends with the question, will Ella complete her mission and save the world or not?